Emma Miller stood at the window of her small, cramped apartment in Yorkshire, watching the grey morning mist crawl across the industrial landscape. Her fingers traced the edge of an old photograph, her father, who had worked in the same factory for 30 years before his unexpected passing. The factory that had been her family's lifeline was now nothing more than a distant memory. The room felt heavy with silence, broken only by the soft breathing of her mother in the next room. Margaret Miller, once a vibrant nurse, now battled a chronic illness that drained their already limited resources. Medical bills piled up like a mountain of impossible dreams, each envelope a reminder of their struggling existence. Emma's hands shook as she counted the remaining money in her worn leather wallet. £37.23, not enough to cover the electricity bill, not enough to buy the medications her mother needed. The factory closure 3 months ago had been more than just a job loss. It was a brutal blow to everything they had known. She remembered the day of the factory shutdown. The manager's cold voice still echoed in her ears. Economic changes, budget cuts, automation. We can't keep everyone. 57 workers lost their jobs that day, but Emma felt like she had lost everything. Her dreams of saving money, of providing a comfortable life for her mother, seemed to dissolve like morning mist. The clock on the wall ticked relentlessly. Each second felt like a challenge, a reminder of the mounting pressures. Emma had always been strong, always been the one who managed everything. Her father had taught her that resilience was the most important skill in life. When the world pushes you down, he would say, you push back harder. She walked to her mother's bedroom, adjusting the blankets and checking the medication on the bedside table. Margaret's face was pale, her breathing shallow. Emma's heart ached with a mixture of love and worry. She knew she had to find a way, any way, to make things work. The job applications were becoming a ritual of hope and disappointment. Every morning, she would sit at the small kitchen table, her old laptop humming softly, searching through countless job listings. Rejection emails filled her inbox like unwelcome guests. "We regret to inform you," became a phrase she knew all too well. Outside, the industrial town seemed to mirror her internal struggle. Abandoned factory buildings stood like silent witnesses to economic decline. Once bustling streets now appeared quiet and defeated. Emma understood this landscape of lost opportunities more intimately than most. Her phone buzzed. Another rejection. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. The weight of responsibility felt enormous. Her mother's medical treatments, their basic living expenses, the constant threat of losing their small apartment. It all rested on her shoulders. In the corner of the room, a small vision board her father had helped her create years ago still hung. Dreams of stability, of helping her mother, of building a better life. The dream seemed distant now, but not impossible. Emma knew her father would want her to keep fighting. She thought about her skills, years of factory work, attention to detail, a strong work ethic. Surely there had to be an opportunity somewhere. The world couldn't be so cruel as to leave them with absolutely nothing. As the morning light began to strengthen, Emma made a decision. She would not be defeated. Her father's spirit of determination ran through her veins. She would find a way, no matter how difficult the path might be. Her mother stirred in the next room, and Emma quickly composed herself. She couldn't let Margaret see her weakness. Strength, she had learned, was not about never feeling scared, but about moving forward despite the fear. The kettle whistled, breaking the morning's heavy silence. Emma prepared a simple breakfast, her movements precise and purposeful. Another day was beginning, another opportunity to fight, to hope, to survive. In that small Yorkshire apartment, with its faded wallpaper and quiet desperation, Emma Miller represented something powerful, the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to be defined by their circumstances. Her story was just beginning, and hope, though fragile, was still alive. The community centre stood like a beacon of hope in the middle of the industrial town, its brick walls holding countless stories of struggle and resilience. Emma hesitated. At the entrance, her worn jacket pulled tightly around her shoulders. Unemployment benefits were running low, and desperation nudged her through the doorway. Inside, the room buzzed with a quiet energy. Posters about job training and community support lined the walls. An older woman at the reception desk smiled warmly, sensing Emma's nervous energy. "First time here?" she asked, her voice kind and understanding. Tom Harris watched from across the room. As a job counselor, he had seen thousands of stories, but something about Emma caught his attention. Her posture spoke of both determination and exhaustion, a combination he recognized from years of working with people on the edge of hope and despair. Emma approached the information desk, her hands clutching a folder of job applications. Her fingers trembled slightly as she explained her situation. A sick mother, lost factory job, mounting bills. The receptionist listened carefully, then introduced her to Tom. Tom was different from the typical bureaucratic job counselors Emma had encountered. His eyes carried a genuine warmness, a sense of real understanding. He didn't just see another unemployed statistic. He saw a person with a story, with potential. "Tell me about yourself," Tom said, gesturing to a small table near the window. Emma sat, feeling both vulnerable and strangely safe. She spoke about her factory experience, her mother's illness, her dreams of finding stable work. Tom listened, really listened, taking notes and asking thoughtful questions. The community center offered a free vocational training program, something Emma had never considered before. Computer skills, customer service training, basic digital literacy, opportunities she had never imagined possible. Tom explained how these skills could open doors in a changing job market. As they talked, Emma's initial nervousness began to fade. Tom shared stories of other individuals who had transformed their lives through similar programs. He wasn't just offering a job service, he was offering hope, a pathway out of her current struggle. The application for the training program seemed less intimidating with Tom's guidance. He helped her understand each section, explained the potential opportunities, and, most importantly, believed in her potential. For the first time in months, Emma felt something she had almost forgotten: possibility. During their conversation, Emma learned Tom had a personal connection to unemployment support. His own father had lost his job during an economic downturn years ago, which inspired Tom's career path. This wasn't just a job for him. It was a mission to help people rebuild their lives. Outside the center's windows, the industrial town continued its quiet rhythm. Factory chimneys stood in the distance, reminders of economic challenges. But inside this room, a small miracle was happening, a connection that could change everything. The training program would start in 3 weeks. Tom gave Emma a list of preparatory materials, websites to review, and basic computer skills to practice. Her mother's encouragement echoed in her mind. "You're stronger than you know, my dear." As Emma prepared to leave, Tom handed her his personal contact information. "If you need any help or have questions, call me," he said. The gesture was simple, but it meant everything. In a world that had felt cold and indifferent, someone was offering genuine support. Walking home, Emma's steps felt different. The folder of job applications now contained something new, an application for the vocational training program. Each step felt lighter, each breath a little easier. The impossible was starting to feel possible. Her mother would be excited. The tiny apartment that had felt like a prison of limitations was now beginning to feel like a launching pad of potential. Emma realized that sometimes hope arrives in unexpected moments, through unexpected connections. The community center disappeared behind her, but its impact remained. Tom's belief, the promise of learning, the potential for change, these were more than just words. They were the first threads of a new tapestry she was about to weave. As evening settled over the industrial town, Emma Miller carried with her something more valuable than money. She carried hope, carefully nurtured by a chance encounter and a counselor who saw her true potential. The computer screen glowed with an unfamiliar brightness, challenging everything Emma had known about work and learning. Her fingers, once skilled at operating factory machinery, now hovered uncertainly over the keyboard. The vocational training center was a world completely different from her previous life. Jack, a fellow trainee in his mid-30s, noticed her struggle. "First time with a computer?" he asked, his voice kind and understanding. Emma nodded, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and determination. Her classmates were a diverse group, people from different backgrounds, all united by the common goal of rebuilding their lives. The first week was brutal. While younger participants seemed to navigate technology with ease, Emma felt like she was learning a completely foreign language. Spreadsheets looked like complicated puzzles, and computer programs seemed designed to confuse her. But Tom's words echoed in her mind. Everyone starts somewhere. Progress is about persistence, not perfection. Rebecca, another trainee, became an unexpected ally. During lunch breaks, she would sit with Emma, explaining computer basics with patience. "These keys are just tools," Rebecca would say, "and you're learning to use them, just like you learned machines in the factory." Each evening, Emma would return to her small apartment, her mother waiting eagerly to hear about her day. Margaret's eyes would light up with pride, watching her daughter push through challenges. The homework became a nightly ritual. Emma practicing, typing, learning basic software, slowly building confidence. The training program wasn't just about computer skills, it was about rebuilding self-belief. Tom and other instructors taught more than technical knowledge. They taught resilience, adaptability, and the courage to transform one's life. Michael, an instructor with years of industry experience, noticed Emma's determination. During a particularly challenging session about digital communication, he pulled her aside. "Some of the best workers I've known started exactly where you are," he said, showing her some of his own early struggle stories. Her classmates became more than just fellow students. They were a support system, sharing struggles, celebrating small victories. When Emma successfully created her first spreadsheet, the entire class applauded. These moments of collective joy made the challenging journey bearable. Night classes became Emma's new routine. After caring for her mother during the day, she would arrive at the training center tired but hopeful. Her world was expanding beyond the limitations she had known. Each computer session was a battle against self-doubt, each learned skill, small victory. Tom continued to be her silent guardian. He would check on her progress, offer additional resources, ensure she had the support needed to succeed. His belief in her potential never wavered, even when Emma's own confidence faltered. The financial pressure remained constant. Medical bills for her mother, basic living expenses. These challenges didn't disappear. But now, Emma had something she didn't have before: hope and a potential pathway to stability. Her hands, once rough from factory work, were developing a new kind of strength. They were learning to type quickly, to navigate complex software, to create digital documents. Each keystroke represented more than just a technical skill. It represented transformation. The industrial town outside seemed to be changing too. Old factory buildings were being repurposed. Technology was creating new opportunities. Emma was becoming part of this transformation, not just as an observer, but as an active participant. During one particularly challenging session about digital marketing, Emma realized something profound. The skills she was learning weren't just about getting a job. They were about reimagining her entire future. The computer was no longer a mysterious object, but a tool of possibility. Her mother's health remained a constant concern, but now Emma felt more equipped to handle challenges. The training was giving her more than job skills. It was providing a sense of control, of potential, of hope. As weeks turned into months, Emma's transformation became visible. Her posture changed. Her confidence grew. The woman who had walked into the community center months ago, uncertain, scared, desperate, was slowly disappearing. In her place was someone stronger, more determined. The learning curve was steep, challenging, sometimes overwhelming. But Emma Miller was learning that she was capable of more than she had ever imagined, and that discovery was worth every difficult moment. The morning light crept through the small apartment's worn curtains, casting a soft glow on Emma's carefully prepared presentation notes. Her hands, now confident with computer skills, trembled slightly. Today was the day of the internship interview at Greenwood Technologies, a local tech company that could change everything. Her mother, Margaret, sat propped up in bed, watching with a mixture of pride and anxiety. "You've come so far," she whispered, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Emma's journey from a struggling factory worker to a potential tech intern seemed almost unreal. Tom had spent weeks preparing her. Mock interviews, practice presentations. Endless hours of coaching had led to this moment. The skills she had learned, digital marketing, basic programming, customer service techniques, were about to be put to the ultimate test. The interview room felt intimidating. Clean white walls, modern furniture, and three serious-looking professionals seated behind a long table. Emma took a deep breath, remembering Tom's advice. Be yourself. Your journey is your greatest strength. She began her presentation about digital marketing strategies for small businesses. Her words, once hesitant, now flowed with surprising confidence. Emma spoke about her experience, her transformation, her understanding of both traditional work and modern technology. Her factory background became an unexpected advantage. She understood hard work and adaptability in ways many candidates did not. The interviewers exchanged glances. Her presentation wasn't just technically sound, it was deeply personal. Emma shared how unemployment had taught her resilience, how caring for her mother had given her a unique perspective on problem solving. Jack and Rebecca, her training program colleagues, had helped her prepare. They had listened to her practice, offered feedback, built her confidence. Their support had been more than just friendship. It had been a lifeline. As she spoke, Emma remembered her father's words. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. She was creating her opportunity, right here, right now. The questions came quickly: technical challenges, scenario-based inquiries, personal motivations. Emma answered each one, drawing from her recent training and her life experiences. Her hands, once rough from factory work, now moved confidently across her presentation slides. Outside, the industrial town seemed to hold its breath. Factory chimneys stood as silent witnesses to economic change. Emma represented that change, a woman transforming her life through learning and determination. One interviewer, a woman in her 50s, seemed particularly interested. "Your story is remarkable," she said, her voice warm. "It's not just about skills, it's about potential." Emma felt something shift in the room. From an interview to a genuine conversation about possibility, her mother's medical bills, her struggle with unemployment, her journey of learning, everything had led to this moment. The interview was more than a job opportunity. It was a chance to rewrite her family's narrative. The hour-long interview felt like both an eternity and a brief moment. When it concluded, Emma wasn't sure how she had performed, but she knew one thing: she had given her absolute best. Walking. "Out," she called Tom. His voice was filled with pride regardless of the outcome. "You've already won," he said, "by showing up, by trying, by believing in yourself." The city streets seemed different. The same industrial landscape that had once felt limiting now felt full of potential. Emma's journey was proof that change was possible, that learning could transform lives. Her phone buzzed, an email from Greenwood Technologies. Her heart raced. As she opened it, her fingers slightly shaking. The first line read, "We are pleased to offer you." Tears came unexpectedly, not just tears of joy, but tears of recognition of her own strength, her own potential. The woman who had walked into the community center months ago was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, more confident, more hopeful. The internship was more than a job. It was a symbol of transformation, of what's possible when determination meets opportunity. Emma Miller had broken through her barriers, and this was just the beginning. The first paycheck arrived like a miracle, crisp and promising. Emma stared at the number, her fingers tracing the zeros she had never seen before. Greenwood Technologies had not just offered her an internship, they had offered her a pathway to a completely new life. Her tiny apartment, once a symbol of struggle, now felt different. Medical supplies for her mother were no longer a source of stress. Fresh groceries filled the small kitchen. The walls seemed to breathe with newfound hope. Margaret Miller's health began to improve. The constant worry about medical bills disappeared, replaced by moments of genuine joy. Emma could now afford better treatments, better care. Her mother's eyes, which had been filled with concern, now sparkled with pride. Tom stood in the doorway, during his first visit, watching the transformation. "You did this," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Emma realized her journey was more than a personal victory. It was a testament to resilience, to the power of learning and determination. The internship challenged her daily. Digital marketing strategies, computer programming basics, customer communication. Each day brought new learning opportunities. Her colleagues at Greenwood Technologies saw her potential, not her past limitations. Jack and Rebecca continued to be her support system. They celebrated her achievements, offered advice, remained connected through their shared journey of transformation. The training program had given them more than skills. It had given them a community. Emma's hands, once calloused from factory work, now moved confidently across computer keyboards. She was creating presentations, analyzing marketing data, communicating with clients. The skills she had struggled to learn now felt natural, almost instinctive. The industrial town began to change around her. Other workers saw her journey as inspiration. Tom's community center became a beacon of hope for those feeling trapped by unemployment. Emma's story spread, proving that transformation was possible. Her first major project at Greenwood Technologies was a digital marketing campaign for local small businesses. She understood their struggles intimately, having lived them herself. Her strategies were not just technical. They were personal and deeply empathetic. Margaret watched her daughter's transformation with wonder. The woman who had once felt overwhelmed by life was now confidently navigating a complex professional world. Their tiny apartment no longer felt like a place of limitation, but a launching pad of potential. Weekend calls with Tom became a ritual of continued support and celebration. He had been more than a job counselor. He had been a mentor, a believer in her potential. "You've changed not just your life," he would say, "but you're changing perspectives about what's possible." The financial stability allowed Emma to think beyond survival. She started a small savings account, planned for further education, considered supporting other individuals struggling with unemployment. Her victory was not just personal, it was a potential pathway for others. Her father's old photograph, which had once represented lost dreams, now felt like a symbol of continuation. She was continuing his legacy of hard work, of believing that circumstances could be changed through determination and learning. The computer that had once terrified her was now her primary tool of transformation. She took additional online courses, expanding her skills, pushing her boundaries. Learning had become not just a necessity, but a joy. Greenwood Technologies recognized her potential quickly. What started as an internship began to look like a permanent position. Her managers saw her unique combination of factory experience and new technological skills as a significant asset. Emma's story became an unexpected inspiration. Local newspapers ran features about her journey. The community center used her experience as a testament to their training programs. She became a symbol of hope for those feeling trapped by economic challenges. As the first year of her new career concluded, Emma reflected on her journey. From a struggling factory worker caring for a sick mother to a confident digital marketing professional, her transformation seemed almost unbelievable. The industrial town that had once felt limiting now felt full of potential. Emma Miller had not just changed her life. She had demonstrated that with support, learning and determination, transformation was always possible. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. "You're stronger than you know, my dear." Emma now understood the full meaning of those words. Strength was not about never falling, but about rising every single time. A new horizon awaited, filled with endless possibilities.